Hey, what's going on, guys? All Muscle. Here, I'm working today on my 66 El Camino. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be replacing the gas tank on it. The gas tank that I had on here was basically a stock style, and it was going to support like the use of a carbureted motor. If I wanted to do fuel injection, I would have had to put a external pump that was not going to be in the gas tank, somewhere on the side of the frame, and I just wanted it to be a little bit neater than that, because I did go obviously with this fuel injected engine, so I have a fuel tank that's going to complement this setup a little bit better. Let me show you under here what I've already got. Alright, so this is it's kind of dark under here, so I'm going to try to use this light, but this is the stock style fuel tank. I did replace it. This is a brand new tank. This is a brand new tank, new straps. I've got all the bracing here all powder coated. What I'm going to do is take this down and possibly put it for sale, because I'm no longer going to need it. So I'm going to take this out, replace it with a fuel tank that's going to incorporate the fuel pump, the sending unit, as if it was, you know, a in-tank fuel injected car to begin with. So let me show you what I got to actually install on that. So the kit is basically through Holley. It was a fuel tank slash fuel pump slash sending unit, all inclusive. So this is basically the Holley Sniper EFI. It's got a 255 liter per hour pump, internal tank baffling to prevent fuel starvation. The nice thing about this tank was actually that the powder coated finish on it is really nice. It's a silver powder coated finish that's going to be I don't know, pretty much I don't think this thing will ever rust, you know, unless some super severe conditions will you know, I don't know, penetrate the powder coating. I'm not sure if it gets scratched. Obviously it'll rust in that area, but if this thing stays unscratched, it shouldn't have any problems rusting. Kit includes tank, sender, fuel pump, and filler neck. So this is a complete EFI solution in one box. So I really like this. Let me see if I got a part number on here. I think this is it here. This one here is a 19-127, and it's a 64 to 67 Chevelle wagon and El Camino. So this is the part number that you'll need. Now Holley has a bunch of different fuel tanks for different vehicles. This is my G-body car, and I have a tank that I'm going to be using for this one. I haven't ordered it yet, but this is the car that's getting the LS motor swap. There's going to be a separate series on that, so stay tuned for that one. But for today, I'm going to be swapping out the gas tank on this unit. First off, I'm going to have to set this tank up. I'm going to have to set the fuel pump up and everything else inside the tank before I install it. I'm going to have to uninstall the tank on this because it's already up there. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to get you back on the next video here in just a few. Alright, so we've got the old tank out, or the old new tank. This tank's never been run before. Still got the original wrapping on it. This was the nice tank that I ordered from Original Parts Group. This was for the El Camino. I think this is the 20-gallon variant, and it was a perfect fit. It fit in there perfectly. Basically, it was the nicer of the tanks that they offered. It says here made in Canada. I'm not sure if that's the part number or not, but it came as a kit. I remember when I bought it, it came as a kit, and it came with the sending unit, a bunch of the filler neck hoses and different clamps and whatnot. Let me show you. Let me show you the new tank. Now this tank is set up for fuel injection. The pump's going to sit in this location here, and then this would be where the sending unit is. And then possibly, I think this is a vent tube. I'm not sure how to set this up yet. I haven't looked at all the instructions, but if you can see that powder coat finish is really sweet. I really like that a lot. I think it's pretty sexy. Makes me happy. Anyways, the tank that let's see here. The tank that I have, I'm gonna list that for sale. It came in here as it was a stainless one, and it was a kit. If you go under here, El Camino kit, That tank setup runs about 380, and it comes with your sender, your straps. It even came with the cap, actually. Look at that filler neck. That's a little hose there for the fuel supply. But this, I'm going to go ahead and put this up and resell that. I don't have any use for that. So somebody that has use for that might find that on my eBay store. But anyways, this is the rest of the stuff that came in the Holley Sniper conversion tank kit. Basically, you got your fuel pump and assembly here for attaching the fuel pump. This is basically where your lines come out, and then this is for your sending your signals for your pump. Came with a couple of zip ties. Not sure what those are used for at this point. We'll figure that all out. I just basically unboxed it at this point. You've got a strainer for the bottom of the pump. You got a rubber hose here. I think that's for installing this extension for made in Taiwan. Wow. So okay, so this is for installing this extension, which I noticed didn't come on the tank, but it was on the original tank. I'll show you here in a second if I remember. You've got a couple breather fittings here. I'm not sure how this setup goes, but we'll also figure that out. Then you've got your sending unit here, and then this is your float. Basically, is going to rotate on this axis to indicate the level of fuel that you have. Also, what came in was the hardware to install these items, and then of course the gaskets, the cork gaskets. Okay, so here's the original style tank. It has a elbow here that comes out at an angle. I'll take you over here and show you the EFI tank. The EFI tank has basically got a little stubby snout, and that's what I think that little extension is for. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together and then pop it up into the car. If I need to make any points or whatnot, show you how to do something, or if I find something to be a little tricky, I'll make a point make a point on it. All right, so here's the tank all set up with the fuel pump and the sending unit. There was some things that I had to basically customize as far as the directions go. One of the things that I had to do is this mounting bracket here. This top screw, according to my measurements that I needed, this top screw would interfere at this point here, and it wouldn't let the rheostat go all the way up to the measurement that I needed. So what I had to do, just a quick one here, is that I took off about a 1/4 inch of material inside there, and basically what you do is you take your tank depth, you divide it by 2, and then you add an 1/8 inch for the gasket. Now the gasket is roughly an 1/8 of an inch, so that's what you have to do. In my case, I ended up with 3.5 inches from the center point of this pivot point here, measurement from the base of the mounting plate here. So that's the only thing that I had to do as far as that goes. Then what I was left over with is if you can see this mounting bracket, if this rheostat slides up all the way, I had a super long portion that would not go into the tank properly with the float and everything adjusted. It would not go into the tank properly, so I had to take about, I don't know, let me see if I still have the cut off piece. There it is. Just took I don't know, about 1.25 inches or so right off the bottom of it, and it sat in there just fine. Now it is getting kind of dark on me here, and the weather looks like it might actually sprinkle, so I'm going to get this packed up. But I did have the fuel pump installed, no issues there, and the sending unit just had a couple little things on there that I had to address. But one thing I want to mention is that I did not like is the cork gaskets that came with it. Definitely prefer a rubber gasket here. Also, didn't really care much for the hardware that's being used on these kits. Didn't really care for this hardware, and I don't know, this seems like it might actually fail or maybe rust in the future. I could see inside, it's dark now, but I could see that there's actual, let me see if I can probably turn this on here, but Like, see, that one's clean in there. If you go over to this one, yep, you see how that's rusted out in there? So I'm going to try to scrape up that a little bit and blow it out with some compressed air, and then maybe possibly lube it up with some a little bit of oil just to keep it from rusting. But anyways, I didn't really care for the hardware. I think this the sending unit and this setup here, I think we could, the Holley could probably design something that where it looks a little more factory, a little bit more updated, versus trying to go with this like track car type racing situation. This more looks like something that you would use on a race car, and that's all cool. But something for like what I'm building, I kind of like would prefer factory style hardware, factory style inserts here, and I think it'd just be much nicer on especially on something like I'm building here. But anyways, I'm gonna take you under here and show you what it looks like here with the gas tank removed. So basically, the gas tank is going to sit in this back area here. If you look underneath the car has actually been coated with a liner. This whole car was rotisseried. There was a coating sprayed underneath it. The body was removed. The coating was sprayed underneath it. As you can see, the frame's dirty now, but this is a charcoal style powder coat. You can see all in here. This has all been lined. This car is going to be pretty much as nice as I can get it when it's done. Everything on here has been upgraded. This has got a set of Bilsteins there. This is a Moser. This is a Moser built 12 bolt. Basically ordered it from Moser complete. Came with the True Track Detroit as a locker in there. Got a full suspension kit on here from Hotchkiss, including the springs, sway bars. I've got Global West upper and lower control arms on here. A full exhaust system from Flowmaster, the Thunder exhaust. So yeah, this car should be pretty nice when I get done with it. At this point, I'm gonna plumb after I get the tank up. I'm gonna plumb the fuel lines. And after I plumb the fuel lines, actually, here's a nice little tidbit. These are custom made wheels. They're by a company. The company's name is Schott, SCHOTT. They make really nice custom billet pieces, 2-piece, 3-piece wheels. Pretty pricey, but their quality is unmatched. But anyways, I'm gonna get this tank up tonight. It's getting a little dark on me. I'll probably pick this up tomorrow. If not, if I get busy or something, then the next step for me is to plumb the fuel lines. I'll plumb the fuel lines, and the next step after I plumb the fuel lines is going to be, I have a painless wiring harness kit that I just got in. I'm going to strip down all the wiring off this engine, and then I'm going to install the painless kit. I don't know if I'm going to loom it first or I'm going to install it, check out how it looks, and then possibly loom it later. And then there's a couple different types of looms that I'm looking into. One of them is actually from Painless. It's called the Power Braid. I might be looming it up with that. It's kind of pricey, but I'm gonna probably put this harness. I'm gonna take this harness off, lay them both next to each other, and then basically go over my options at that point, and see if I might just use the factory style loom and loom it up. How the factory has it. It might be a little bit nicer with the Power Braid, but like I said, that would be a little more spendy there. We'll see how that goes. And if I want to actually wait on the spending the extra $100 or $120 to loom it up is one thing, but I just kind of if I want to do something, I usually kind of like to get it done right away and don't like to wait on special ordering stuff and whatnot. So I might just loom it up with the factory style loom. We'll see how that goes, but that's going to be an interesting video. It's going to be fun to do the wiring on that. I always enjoy doing stuff like that. It's kind of tedious, but after you get it done, it's definitely enjoyable. It's satisfying. You kind of take your mind off day-to-day stuff and get in depth and get deep into it. So I like doing that. But anyways, this El Camino is coming along. we're gonna keep trucking away at it. This car has been in my possession for about 12 years, and I haven't really done much to it in this probably 8 years. Probably about 8 years. I probably just sat here for 8 years. I didn't do anything to it, and now I'm just kind of picking it up a little bit. I had spurts where I just basically went in, did a whole bunch of stuff in the beginning. Then I sat for a couple years, went in, did a bunch of stuff, and now I'm at the point where I'm going in, and this time I'm really trying to get it to the point where I can hear this motor run. I've got steering in it, so I can probably pull it in and out of the garage, whatnot. At that point, you know, I'll be a little bit more motivated to finish up and wrap this thing up. But anyways, I'm gonna leave that video here. I'm gonna put this gas tank in. I hope the fitment is good. If there's any issues or whatnot, I'll let you guys know. But I love the tank. The tank is beautiful. My only gripe was with these cork gaskets. They actually don't line up with the holes really well. The hardware could have been better, and a lot of these basically frames could have been a lot better also. But the tank itself is a really nice piece. I can't wait to see it up in the car. So anyways, I'll let you guys go. Rambling on right now, but it's getting late. See you guys on the next one. Alright guys, so we got the gas tank installed. Now it's going to be the time to run fuel lines. And as you can see, I've already got the, this is the original one to the Corvette, the C4. And it's going to basically run down here to a fuel filter that's right up along the side of the frame there. I don't know, I just have this sitting in here for mock-up. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to use, and what I'm not going to use, but I'm just trying to get some fitment. Actually, that's why I have this fender on here, because I put the fender on and then mocked up the inner fender here. The inner fender goes in and it takes up you know, a certain amount of room in here, so I wanted to mock all that up. Also, I've mocked up the headers. These aren't the ones that I'm going to be using, but they do fit pretty good. These are the ones that came off of a G body, and I can't remember who makes these, but they fit in here pretty good. Only thing I've got going here so far is that the passenger side brake line is got a little interference there, so I'm gonna have to figure something out about this. Or if I put a different header on here, I might not have to do anything about that. So we'll see. Let me take you and show you underneath the car. The fuel tank's already installed. Alright, so here she is. It's kind of dark under here and the lighting sucks, but this is what I can do here. So the Holley EFI tank is a pretty nice fitment. The fitment was nice. It didn't have any issues installing. The powder coating finish on here is really nice. I liked it a lot. Only thing I didn't care for was the hardware that was used on it. It just seemed cheap. But anyways, you know, like I said, here under here, the lighting's not that great, but that's set up under there, and it looks good, so I like it. The next thing I'm going to do is work on these fuel lines, like I said, but also have another project that is going to be going on kind of simultaneously, and that's going to be the wiring project. The old wiring, I'm going to strip all that off. It's going to go to a painless kit. I've got the kit here. This is a Lt1 harness for 94 to 95. They say you can go up to 96, 97. And this is the part number here. This is the this is basically the they make two different ones. They make one that's, I think it's a 60505, which is an extended length where you can you know, have a little bit more play to put your computer or whatnot. But this one here is just a standard length, and that's all I needed. This car is not you know, it's not that big. I'm not trying to put the computer in the back of the bed or anything like that, so we'll figure that out. And like I said, we've got a lot of stuff on here for mock-up purposes, including this fender, those headers, and so far everything's coming out, you know, looking like it's going to work out pretty well. Little things here and there that I might have to, you know, modify or whatnot, but we'll keep you posted on it. I'm going to get the, you know, the lines installed, and then I'm going to work on the harness. I'll probably work on the harness next, but as of right now, that's what we got going.